T-minus 9 minutes. T-minus 8 minutes. T-minus 7 minutes. T-minus 6 minutes. T-minus 5 minutes. T-minus 3 minutes. T-minus 2 minutes. T-minus 1 minute. Stand by.
How about that?
Oh boy, we got a lot for you today. What an exciting week. Super Bowl 60, some big hockey games, some big guests. Jeff Reinebold will be joining us later on from Super Bowl 60 in San Francisco. Last football game of the year, y'all. Lots to get to today, a lot of NFL teams, and I'm a little surprised and quite frankly saddened by the results of our poll question, which we put up nigh 30 minutes ago. We got our good guy, Mitchell Scruffy Blair, with us, Hall of Fame broadcaster. He and I belong in the same, we're in the same Hall of Fame, right, Mitchell? Mitchell?
That's
Did we
correct.
go in the same class, 2003, the Rural Sports Hall of Fame?
I believe it was, yeah.
Yeah. Where have you gone, Scoop Leary? You and I were so young, dumb, and stupid. We didn't even realize how big a deal that was at the time. Or at least I didn't. I shouldn't speak for you. Did you?
It was just sort of cool because it was some recognition from my hometown.
Yeah. It's not even my hometown, but they put me in the Hall of Fame in your hometown. Does that tick you off?
No. Because I think a lot of people, have sort of partnered you and I at the hip over the years, haven't they?
I know. Well, listen, there's a real... Oh, I'm going to throw this all out the window. I'm going to start right here. Forget about Super Bowl 60. Forget about opening night. That was last night. Mitch, I'm going to jump to point 3 right here, right now. New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft, like his former head coach Bill Belichick, was not selected for entry into this year's Pro Football Hall of Fame class, according to ESPN. Kraft, a first-time Hall of Fame finalist this year, didn't receive enough votes from the 50-person selection committee. They're announcing the class Thursday night at the awards in San Francisco. I was going to wait to the third point, but I can't wait. And the poll question is, do you feel bad for Kraft and Belichick that they've been snubbed by Hall of Fame voters? So before I tell you what I voted, do you feel bad, Scruffy, for those two being snubbed by the Hall of Fame voters?
No, because they're eventually going to get in. Robert Kraft, I don't know what the reasons for him not getting in are. I'm guessing a lot of it has to do with his role in Spygate, Deflategate, Rub and Tugs, which has nothing to do with football. But I'm guessing, both of those guys are going to be Hall of Famers. They're not going to get in on the first ballot. And it makes me interested to see if Tom Brady will get in on the first ballot. Because if those guys aren't getting in on the first ballot, what are we doing?
Okay. Well, thank you. Hey, okay. All right. 73% of respondents agree with you. They don't feel bad for those two. And the audience has already chimed in. Tim is watching in Kansas City. He writes in and he says, cheating has consequences. Okay. By the way, Brent in the Bridge City writes in. Okay, continue.
Carlos Beltran just went to the Hall of Fame for baseball.
I know you have a personal thought about that. Can we stay on point with football? Yeah. Brent in Saskatoon writes in. He says, greetings and salutations, Rod Squad. How's everybody doing today? I guess I'm sitting here. I feel bad for them, Mitch. Can I at least implore you to look at it from my line of thinking? My vote is, yes, I feel bad for them. Mitch, there's something fundamentally wrong when Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick don't go into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in the first ballot. I mean, come on. Come on.
Agree.
What do we... Yeah.
I agree, but I'm not surprised because of the jealousy and the hatred that Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick put through the NFL. Yes, it's a joke that they're not going in, but it doesn't surprise me.
That's not what I asked. None of this is what I asked. You don't feel bad for them even a little? They do all this. I mean, I'm with you on that they will get in. But so what? They're serving a penance right now. I'll say it again. Like these, I will agree with you on this. We should not be surprised because these Hall of Fames have become in a lot of ways abominations, and it's sad.
I'll just ask you this, okay? I've never been to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I've never been to Cooperstown. The last time I was at the Canadian Football Hall of Fame was in the 90s. But I have been to the Hockey Hall of Fame in Toronto several times. Roddy, when you were looking at the busts of the players that are in there, does it say first time, second time, third time? No, it doesn't. So Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft will be in the Hall of Fame, but will we know in 3 years' time that they weren't a first ballot Hall of Famer? And really, will the average football fan that's going through the Shrine in Canton, Ohio, really care? I don't think so.
Okay, fair. I feel like you and I are sitting at a coffee shop off Victoria Avenue East having this discussion, not on national television and regional radio, but that's fine. That's why people like this show, because I'm kind of going back and forth on all of these things. I still think that it's wrong. And hey, not only have you mentioned a lot of great Hall of Fames, Country Music Hall of Fame in Nashville, I was through there last year. Clint Black is blackballed from there. How about that? Little ironic, isn't it? Oh, yeah. The person I was with said, is Clint Black the Theron Fleury of the Country Music Hall of Fame? I guess so. I don't know. I mean, that's where we're at now. Is this... You can have a Hall of Fame career, but don't mean anything anymore because if you piss people off along the way, you're going to have to answer for it. That's where we're at now. That's the summation on all this, right?
For the most part, yeah. Or, maybe you wait until, in some cases, like Pete Rose, Pete's passed away. Let's put him in now.
You got to die first. Well, that happened with Toby Keith as well with the Country Music Hall of Fame. So I don't know. I
guess you're right. Yeah.
I had a long conversation yesterday with a football guy who's been through this as well and is not in a Hall of Fame, and he deserves to be a college football guy and for past transgressions, but he doesn't care. And I got the sense from him that he doesn't care because he knows he had a Hall of Fame career. So what does it really mean to be recognized? And that's a topic for another time. Would you rather be in the Hall of Fame and never won a championship like a Dan Marino, a Marcel Dionne, soon to be Kevin Glenn, I would hope, or have all the championships and not be in the Hall of Fame? It's a pretty easy decision. Brent in Saskatoon says perhaps some other owners don't care for them. They'll all get in sooner or later, but it's not about the owners. It's about the voters. And I've enjoyed the conspiracies that Bill Polian orchestrated this as the chairman of the committee and all that. It's just been delicious fun to follow. But anyways, that was the thing I could not wait to get off my chest. So we will talk about opening night when we come back. We'll talk about what went down in the NHL last night. We'll look ahead to Sunday's Super Bowl 60 NHL tonight. Oh, the NFL Giants owners in trouble, co-owners in trouble, as you heard. Names showed up with the Epstein files. And, well, Roger Goodell held his State of the Union news conference. We got a lot to unpack coming out of that. So get comfortable, everybody. Fill up your coffee. Hit the bathroom if you have to. And we'll be right back. You're watching and enjoying, I would hope, the RP Show on the Game Plus Television Network, YouTube Live, podcast, and WQVZ Radio.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge. Big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too. Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Hold on tight, Moose Jaw. Professional bull riding is back. PBR Canada charges into the Temple Garden Center April 25th. See the toughest riders take on the rankest bulls in a night of non-stop edgier seat action. Whether you're a diehard fan or brand new to PBR, this is one show you don't want to miss. Tickets are on sale now at sastix.ca or at the box office. But don't wait, they'll sell fast. Professional Bull Riding Canada in Moose Jaw.
Proudly presented by Pepicasi's Developments Limited.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away. ultimatefanzone.ca or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
21-time nominated Grammy Award winner Dwight Yoakam. Live in concert. June 24th, 7 p.m., Temple Garden Center. Dwight Yoakam. On sale now at sasktix.ca. Dwight Yoakam Live.
Hour one of the RP Show is brought to you in part by Outlaw Communications, where creativity is a way of life, specializing in strategic communications, leadership training, and clear conversational content that motivates your audience. Look up Tony Plater and Outlaw Communications. And by the way, the text line's open. Let's get him going. Let's get busy. 902-518-3033. It's brought to you by Western Dodge. Drive with confidence. Shop Western Dodge. Financing, selection, and service you can count on. Mitch, before we jump back in the Super Bowl topic, how about a little hockey from last night? What were you watching last night, if anything, in the National Hockey League?
I watched a bunch of games last night. I sort of switched around. Saw some of the Pittsburgh-Ottawa game. Didn't watch any of the Leafs-Calgary game because, those are two teams that I just have no time for. Watched a little bit of Utah-Vancouver. And I saw a little bit of the Buffalo-Florida game. And, Roddy, I don't think your Florida Panthers are going to make the playoffs this season. I saw somebody say today that the Edmonton Oilers the last 2 years have tried to figure out a way to get past Florida. They won't have to worry about it this year because Florida's not going to get there. And I don't disagree because time's starting to run out on them.
Well, among the highlights, point two, Mitchell just did a nice little tour of the NHL. Willie Nylander had a goal and 2 assists, and the visiting Toronto Maple Leafs hung on to defeat the Calgary Flames 4-2. That was one of the 7 games I had wrong out of 10. Thomas Harley scored it. Yeah. Thomas Harley scored at 2:05 of overtime to lift the Dallas Stars to a 4-3 victory over Winnipeg. Nick Schmaltz had 3 goals. You notice it's the year of the hat trick in the NHL. I've literally lost track how many hat tricks. Over 30 have been scored in 2026 as the Utah Mammoth thumped the Vancouver Canucks 6-2. The one thing that I love, Mitch, and I learned this doing this show a couple of years ago, is our viewers in Canada are still very interested in what is going on in Florida, and it sounds like you are a little bit too, with the Lightning and the Panthers, because you're hockey fans and you love the league. And I'm just going to tell you this, Mitch. The natives are restless. I was telling you on the phone this morning that the local radio, the sports talk, only talk about the Panthers when it's negative. And they're like, oh, Panthers are finding out what it's like not having Alexander Barkov, and it's bad. I'm like, they knew that the second he went down. They knew that, okay? Yep. In September. Yep. You're just figuring that out. So, and then to be honest, you know me. I'm sitting there going, everybody don't panic. It's not that big a deal. But then after the game, I'm standing right beside Matthew Tkachuk, and he says, we're in trouble. Oh. Okay, it's official now. Matthew Tkachuk has confirmed the Panthers are in trouble.
Here's a question for you. With the Olympic break, it's going to be good for some teams that are struggling, like the Florida Panthers. It'll be bad for other teams who are on a roll, like the Buffalo Sabres. So what do you think happens coming out of the break with the trade deadline right around the corner? Because there's a lot of teams that have to be going, where are we, and can we get a reset during the Olympic break?
Some teams will. This is where I have to be careful, and I'm actually glad that you and I had this chat this morning on the phone about how the media business has changed, because I'm in the press box Sunday night in Tampa Bay at the outdoor game, and I got loads of info on what you just said. There are some teams that are going to be sellers that their fans don't want to hear that. And I'm not going to be the guy to pee on their parade. You know what I mean? Like, teams are making their plans already. Vancouver's waved the white flag. Calgary's waved the white flag, but other teams they're getting it. They're unfolding it. Okay. And they're ready to, they just haven't put it up yet. And when they do, their fans are going to go crazy, right? What do you mean?
The Leafs.
I'm not going to say which ones. I'm just saying for the Panthers, sadly, Mitch, I don't think a whole lot's going to change because half the teams going to the Olympics, what they need is rest. Yeah, but they're not going to get rest. So that sucks for them. But that's the price you pay for success. It's similar to the Saskatchewan Roughriders fans that are texting me upset about all the players they're losing in free agency. And I told you, and we discussed this yesterday, that's what happens when you win. So what do you want to do? Not win? We know what that's like in Saskatchewan. So be happy you got the ring. And
injuries have not helped the Florida Panthers either. And I see today where Sam Bennett, Anton Lundell, and Brad Marchand may not play tomorrow because of injury.
Huh.
I looked at some of the roster in Florida last night and I went, who are these guys? Like the couple of guys that scored, I went, who are these guys?
But here's the thing about that. I'm so glad that you brought all this up, and I'm so glad that you care, because it's something that we're going to talk about on our Cats and Bolts podcast. And I'm going to slip in comments from the other team's fans here, like David number 1 in Winnipeg writes in. He says, Jets put up a hell of a fight going end-to-end with Dallas. Those Dallas jerseys were pretty nice looking. I didn't see any highlights of that on ESPN. They're still replaying highlights of the goalie fight from Sunday night, Bad Zaleski and Swayman. But anyways, as far as the Panthers go, here's the thing. I belong to all these Panthers Facebook groups, just like I belong to Rough Rider Facebook groups in the day. Some guy literally wrote, I don't know if you saw the goal. Bob went out to play the puck, misplayed it, got scored on last night. Sergei Bobrovsky. Some guy goes, F you, Bob, you're a loser. And I'm like,
what?
Now, I know. And that guy was summarily jumped on by other Panthers fans, because that's just people. Why does the Tiger King carry a gun? It's not to shoot tigers. It's because of people that need to be shot. And this guy, said that Sergei Bobrovsky is the best goalie in the world. But it goes back to Brett Lauder. I don't know if you saw one of his family members. This is the kicker that was cut by the Rough Riders yesterday. You knew it wasn't going to go away quietly. And one of his family members went to Facebook and just said, what is wrong with you people with the things that you've said about our Brett? Because you and I both know what an outstanding person he is, and heart and soul guy, and all the, hosts a charity event for the team on the weekend, then gets cut the next day. I'm not even holding that against the Rough Riders.
And let's just go one step further, Rod. He probably knew that he was going to get released because he didn't get his bonus on February 1st. He could have backed out of that thing knowing full well what was going to happen and didn't, which tells you the type of individual Brett Lauder is. He sat there, met fans, signed autographs, organized the game, knowing full well that he was done.
Yeah, how my mind's flashing to all these things. But I guess, you were on the air yesterday, were you not, when I said, when Jeremy O'Day, the general manager, said at the winter meetings last month, when he was asked, is Brett Lauder your kicker? He said, today he is. I'd have been calling the U-Haul right then, getting a good price, because, today he is. Oh, hey, are you still my girlfriend? Today you are. It's not a real good long-term vote of confidence, right? But all I'm saying is, and this is kind of where I spend way too much of my day spending energy on the idiotic things people say on social media. It's one thing to bitch about politicians and stuff, but with personal comments about Sergei Bobrovsky, Brett Lauder, guys that I have the great fortune of personally knowing personally, that's so hard to take. But to sit and ask people to smarten up and not be jerks, that's a fool's errand. That's just not going to happen, Mitch. That's never going to happen. No.
These days.
From the text
Roddy,
line.
You and I have discussed this before.
Yeah.
Not one of these mouth breathers would ever say that to Brett Lauder or Sergei Bobrovsky in person.
Probably not, but one night I was in the pump, believe it or not, in Regina with Paul McCallum a week after the miss, and a guy spat in his face. I was like,
really?
Did that just happen? Yeah.
Wow.
So some people would. And as you know, that was 2004.
2004,
yeah. Pre-social media. Would have been nicer if the guy had stayed on Facebook with that. I saw it with my mic. Paul was like, and didn't do anything about it, thank God. It was like a scene from Roadhouse.
Probably had a role to play in that too. So
the devil's juice. Bob writes in, says, good morning, Rod and Scruffy. It's Bob from Medicine Hat. Back watching your show. I enjoy your show immensely. Have a great day, Rod and Scruffy. Well, at least somebody does.
Thanks, Bob.
Yeah, thank you, Bob. Have a great...
Like that woman from Regina that says she turns it off as soon as she sees me. Come on. Good morning.
Let's leave your mom out of this. Okay, going way back to point one. This is where I meant to start the show. And this is going to have to carry over to the next segment probably, but maybe the game itself will live up to the hype because Super Bowl opening night was calmer than usual. Drake May and the New England Patriots take on Sam Darnold and the Seattle Seahawks Sunday in San Fran. Sam Darnold was asked last night to name his favorite coffee spot, burger joint, hobby, and food. Patriots coach Mike Vrabel refused to compare Drake May to Tom Brady and was asked several questions about playing for Bill Belichick. I found it real interesting that they expected 6,000 media there last night and only 2,000 showed up and a lot less fans in the San Jose Convention Center. And I can just tell you, no, go ahead, you have a point. I can see.
Somebody asked Mike Vrabel last night, is this a must-win game?
Stop it.
I'm not joking. Mike Vrabel was asked last night, is this a must-win game?
What did he say? No.
I don't know.
Oh, dude.
I'm at a loss.
They should have had a camera on yours and my discussion this morning because this business is a freaking toilet, man. Like, how do you even let somebody into that? Like, I would never show up at the White House or Parliament Hill and ask stupid questions just because I thought it was funny. Which, by the way, for those that work in sports, and I include Mitch in that, that's what we take the Super Bowl as: the White House, Parliament Hill. You know, this is big time stuff, and you let in some noob, like the lady in the wedding dress proposing to Tom Brady. That was funny.
Yep.
I mean, a little weird, but
like
man,
last
you just
night,
ruined
Mike
it for
McDonald
me.
and Sam Darnold were both asked. Game's on the line, 30 seconds left. You've got the ball at the 1 yard line. What are you doing? And of course, that goes back to the last time these two teams played, the famous Malcolm Butler interception that we've seen about 1,006 times over the last 10 days. And Mike McDonald and Sam Darnold both said the same thing. We're going to run the best play that we can.
From the audience,
Sam Darnold went a little further and said, well, what's the scenario? Like, do I have timeouts? What's going on? What is the score? Like, it just, like, I don't mind that question being asked, but, hey, Mike, is this a must-win game?
Oh my God, it's like the nice lady, whatever her name was in Jacksonville. You did a great job out there, coach. Like you, Duval, and you go out and you get him next year. There's a lot of people that didn't have a problem with that, So hang on. The great comments are coming in, and we'll carry them over after on all of this. Scott in Vancouver writes in. He says, "Any Canucks fans here? I wanted to ask something about last night's game. Imagine if you were able to be a fan and ask the players questions. You just can't. That's the one thing that I get a bang out of now. Oh, so-and-so doesn't have any balls. He didn't ask the commissioner this. I tell you what, you take the microphone and you go ask him and see how long you last. How about that?
Yep.
That's the one thing. Regarding the Lawther family taking it to social media about Brett, Brendan writes in, he says, I've seen nothing but flowers from Rider fans regarding Brett Lawther online. Weird. Well, cool. I'm telling you what his family said, okay? You don't see everything. We do. You don't see everything. We do. I.e. those that are tagged in these idiotic comments like that. And John in Edmonton writes in and he says, I know I'm late. You may have spoken about this yesterday, but what do you think about the Oilers retaining Calvin Pickard after putting him on waivers Sunday? We didn't talk about it yesterday. We did talk about the goaltending situation with Jason Gregor. So here's the thing. As a coach and a personnel person, you want as many people as you can. So if they they want to keep 3 goalies, they're allowed to keep 3 goalies. If it's legal, they're going to keep 3 goalies for as long as they can. And it went for as long as they can until they had to put somebody on waivers. We'll be right back. All right, it's just getting good. Scruffy's with me. Jeff Reinebold coming up here on Game Plus TV.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly, we built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away, ultimatefanzone.ca, or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
Hold on tight, Moose Jaw. Professional bull riding is back. PBR Canada charges into the Temple Garden Center April 25th. See the toughest riders take on the rankest bulls in a night of non-stop, edgier seat action. Whether you're a diehard fan or brand new to PBR, this is one show you don't want to miss. Tickets are on sale now at sastix.ca or at the box office. But don't wait, they'll sell fast. Professional Bull Riding Canada in Moose Jaw.
Proudly presented by Papikas's Developments Limited.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina. This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Welcome back. It's the Canadian hour of the RP show, as I like to call it. I feel so Coronation Street-ish, or so front page challenge-ish. It's brought to you in part by Suds Full Service Car Wash. Fuel your fleet's finesse with Suds Regina's unbeatable cleaning packages. They'll shine like new every time. Visit sudsregina.com. And by the way, I know Coronation Street is Great Britain, jolly Great Britain. But anyways,
how about Schitt's Creekish?
Great show. Great show. But I mean, not
Catherine O'Hara.
She was good, but I don't remember her as that. I remember her as the mom in Home Alone. And I love the Chicago O'Hara.
I remember her best from her SCTV days. Lola Heatherton.
That was pretty good too. All these comments coming in. Hang on, everybody. I only got scruffy for another 8 minutes, so I'll get to your comments after. Okay. You know, we live in this society of either or. You got to pick a winner. You can't have both. And the reason I say that is they're already writing in about Celebrini and Bedard. Celebrini or Bedard? Bedard or Celebrini? Last night they met. Chicago whopped them 6-3. Shabakeling in the United Center, 6-3 Blackhawks. Celebrini had a goal and a helper. Connor Bedard, the holy child, had a goal. 1 point for Chicago. This is the Sid and Ovi
didn't
thing.
get 3 shots on goal like he needed to for a parlay to cash. Never mind.
You gambling degenerate. This is going to go on forever. This is a Sid and Ovi thing, right? This, like, I don't know why we got it.
Yep.
For years in international competition, we get to have them both. I mean, Sid and Ovi opposed each other for years, but at least these kids are both Canadians. And I will just say this. I mean, yeah, I have my biases, but guess what? So do all hockey people, football people. They have their biases to their guys. I'm still taking Bedard because here, although San Jose won, I think it was 4-1 a couple of Mondays. That was the night of the Bob fight, the night of the national championship. Celebrini was pointless. He wasn't that impressive to me. I want a guy that can score from anywhere on the ice. Clearly, they're both fine, upstanding young men. As far as leadership, I think they're both fine. He was the captain of the Pats, wasn't he? But I want a guy with that shot on my team. Yeah. I don't care. But you still saying you'd take Celebrini?
Right now I would, but really, are you losing that argument? Like, both of them are going to be the faces of the NHL moving forward.
Right.
Like, right now, it's McDavid. Like, you talked about it was Crosby, Ovechkin. Now it's McKinnon, McDavid. And it will be Bedard, Celebrini at some point.
Well, I was talking to one of the security guards last night in the press box at the Panthers game, just about the people that come through there and that are there regularly. I don't mind saying it. Dale Talon comes to every game, former GM of the Panthers and the Blackhawks. Jacques Martin has a house here. Rick Bowness was here when he was not on a bench somewhere and at games. Basil McRae lives over in Naples. He comes. All these hockey guys are around. So it's not just the fans that are debating it. I hear these guys talking about it. Sometimes I'm part of those conversations. And I would say if you took a vote, most of them say Celebrini, but they're also still very young. You know what I mean? Like the players that they are now, certainly in the case of Bedard being a 200-foot player, he wasn't until this year. Like, shout out to Jeff Blashill. He's the only coach I've ever seen that's been able to get Bedard to play defense. Before, he wasn't even interested in trying. And then he tried, and he wasn't that good at it. And now he's actually pretty good at it. How much do you watch him?
I've got no problems with his defensive game.
Okay.
I just sometimes wonder, if Connor Bedard, and he's done a lot to sort of like, get to the spot, but I sometimes find that Connor Bedard still gets pushed off the puck a little bit too easily along the boards. And if that's his biggest weakness, so be it. Like some will tell you Connor McDavid doesn't shoot the puck enough. Really? Are we going to really criticize Connor McDavid's game?
Right? But yes, they are. The answer is yes. Yes, they are.
Yes.
Welcome to the world. John in Edmonton writes in, he says, what do you think of the Florida Panthers being back-to-back Stanley Cup champions and now they are shitting the bed and fans are not happy? Thoughts? We addressed it earlier. We're not going back there. It's not the Panthers show, but we will be going live at 3:30 with a hot stove on Saturday with Jersey Jim and Brent from Wellington, Florida. Arlen Bruce writes in, back to some more fun stuff. AB says, great morning, RP and Scruffy. I have a feeling Bad Bunny will make headlines for his performance coming up. Seahawks by 11. We will see. Are you willing to go out on a limb by how much your Seahawks will win Super Bowl 60 by, Scruffy?
Seahawks will win 26-20.
Woo! Okay. So they'll cover and all will be good in the hood. Okay. Well,
take
for
the
those
over,
that
the over 45.5. So that's a tight one.
Okay.
Take the 4.5 points. So we'll go from there. And here's
By the way,
here's my hot take.
Yeah.
A defensive player will win MVP.
Yeah. Okay. Any pick on that? DeMarcus Lawrence, maybe?
Leonard Williams is where I'm going to go.
Well, you know what? While I have you here, because we don't have a whole lot of time, I've sat back. I put on this morning Good Morning Football. They were broadcasting live from Radio Row, so I know exactly where those guys were.
Now.
Right. And it just looks like so much fun. This is, for years, like decades as we're getting old, I just love sitting and watching NFL Network all friggin' day at Super Bowl week. They do a great job, don't they?
Oh, it's fantastic. It's, when you've got the week, that didn't sound like Lynch, did it? When you've got, 2 weeks to hype up this game, and it's just a one game. It's not like the World Series where it's a best of 7. It's not like the Stanley Cup. You can analyze it going into the series, but when you've only got one game, you've got a lot of time to decipher and analyze and dissect every little portion of the game.
Which is great. Jeff Reinebold coming up next hour from Super Bowl. I just had a mental flash. Do you know what it was? Taking John Frenzy to Radio Row at Super Bowl. Like winding him up and just saying, go. Because I did it. I didn't take Frenzy, but I've been on Radio Row. Scruffy, it's like nothing you'll ever buy. You're just walking down the hallway, and it's like, oh, there's Kurt Warner. Oh, there's Trish Stratus. Oh, there's Flava Fave. Oh, there's Donovan McNabb. Oh, there's Pat McAfee. Oh, there's Roger Goodell. Oh, there's Mina Kimes. Can you imagine Lynch? They'd have had to taser him.
Probably. You almost had to do that if you took him to a Grey Cup Radio Row.
It would have been worse. He'd have been jailed.
Oh, that's a very good point.
Oh, yeah.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, one which, by the way, is unfortunate because they didn't even have a Radio Row at Grey Cup this year, from what I understand, and I don't know if they ever will again. Where is the Grey Cup next year? You must know?
Calgary, isn't it?
Calgary, yes. Okay, sorry to the Stampeders fans. Whether we're there or not, I don't know. We're on a case-by-case basis. But what I can tell you is the NFL, I don't know what the soccer's like because that's not my thing, but the NFL is next level in terms of security and everything. Like I learned it in Vegas at the Super Bowl. You want to get somebody on your show, you got to submit their name, a urine sample, a blood sample, a passport, just to get them into Radio. It's very involved, and I get it. It's security and it's the National Football League, but it's a commitment. It's a major commitment. So I'd rather just sit. I will say this though. I walked by Mike Florio last year. He was sitting there with Chris Sims, and I just stopped and stared, thinking, "Can I tell him?"
Funny you say that because as I look over at my TV right now, Mike Florio is talking to Chris Sims.
I just felt like saying, "I love you." Would it be inappropriate to say "I love you"? Yeah. So I wanted to take a year to check it all out, and just realized it's a really big deal. Okay, 30 seconds for you, Scruffy. The last word is yours.
Sunday will be a big day. Hopefully, these guys can get the Super Bowl back that they should have won a few years ago. Looking forward to a good game, and hope to talk to you about their win on Monday, Roddy.
I'm sure you'll be watching it in seclusion like the last time they were in the Super Bowl.
No,
you didn't come join us. You had to be
with some buddies in a place in Regina.
All right, you had to be on your own. So. You wouldn't come watch it with us. Okay, we'll see you later. Thanks, Scruffzo. At least that's how I remember it. Right back on.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
I'm just texting Scruffy. The conversation's not over yet. We're remembering where we were because we weren't together when the Seahawks won the Super Bowl, but we were having fun in different locations as usual. Hey, Wilf writes in from Steinbach, Manitoba, which, by the way, Wilf, your name came up a lot last night in the press box here in Sunrise, Florida. Your thought on the goalie fight being staged in the outdoor game. Wilf says, hi, Rod and Scruffy. Great show. I think Bob Kraft and Bill Belichick have championship rings to look at. Oh, and Brett Lowther. Happy for them. And thanks for entertaining us. Thank you, Will, for being entertained. I mean, that's clearly, I look at things differently than everybody. That's why you all are here every day. But I just look at Belichick, and then, that was last week we found out he was snubbed, and now Kraft. And I know it's not just a sports thing, but we've only lived in sports. I don't know what it's like in other and media, and I don't know what it's like in other industries, but it's like if you're Belichick, I've been thinking about this a lot. Like, his girlfriend's 24. I'm pretty sure younger than all of his kids. Exiled from the NFL. He's got his 8 Super Bowl rings, and he can't get in the Hall of Fame. And you just kind of sit back and go, what did I do all that for? And now it's Kraft's turn to say the same thing. Or, wallow in that for a little bit and then just move on. And like you say, shine your rings and live your best life, which, by the way, Belichick is clearly doing. Vintage Sasko writes in on the Western Dodge text line. Hey, Reverend Rod and Bishop Blair. The Super Bowl must-win question is an annual question, just like the can the players have sex before the Grey Cup question used to be. Woo! Signed, Vintage Sasko. Is it really? And how did I not know that? How did I not know that that was an annual stock question? Which, frankly, I do look at a lot of what's happened in this toilet of an industry, as I was referring to it earlier. But the fact that the sex question's gone away, in Grey Cup lore in the CFL is a good thing. No, that always made me very uncomfortable. They shouldn't have to be answering questions about their sex lives. Oh my God. Ken Austin was squirming in his seat. He looked like one of the Wiggles in the various Grey Cups when he was asked that question. And then there's Corey Chamberlain. I tell him, if they've been doing it all year, do what you've been doing all year. We won. Kevin the Medium says, good morning, RP peeps. He says, I am and always will be a Canucks fan. How's that working out for you? Where the hell's Tony from Cochrane today, by the way? The guy that issued a news release relinquishing his fandom to the Cleveland Browns. That's the good news. The bad news, he picked the Houston Texans. Still can't get over that. This is the Canadian Hour, so all Canadian topics are on the table. Scott in Vancouver writes in and says, some people are saying Belichick will only be punished for a year to make a statement. Then he'll get in. He was too prickly with the media, and they are the ones voting. Well, here's, by the way, if he is getting his comeuppance, which is, another thing I was talking with Scruffy about this morning. I don't know Bill Belichick. I've never met him. So I will not go by the way he's been portrayed in the media or even what people have said, people that I know that know him. The only guy that I really know well, that knows Belichick real well, is Chris Jones, who worked with him at UNC last year. And the only thing he said, Chris Jones legendarily works harder than everybody else. Okay, when I first started working with Jones, we had a camp here in Vero Beach, Florida, with the Rough Riders, and I couldn't believe the hours that he was putting in. And I said to Ed Fillion, his D-line coach at the time, I said, how do you guys keep up with him? He goes, we take shifts. And Jones said, Belichick beats him to the facility by an hour every morning. The only thing about Belichick is the legendary work ethic, but I'll say that again. I'm sure at some point it's crossed Belichick's mind. He's just sitting there going, if I'm not in the Hall of Fame, what the hell did I do all this for? I know it was his job and stuff, but this is just something that crosses your mind when these snubs happen. Arlen Bruce writes in, he says, RP and Mr. Scruffy, the menu for Super Bowl Sunday is going to be pizza, chicken wings times 10. Oh, I'm sure that ours will be too. Yeah. Haven't looked that far. One day at a time. As I'm thinking about what I'm going to eat after this show. Not the Super Bowl menu, but not everybody thinks that way. Hey, there he is. Tony from Cochrane, Alberta has showed up right on time. I know there are a lot of Canadian Football League fans here. And I was saying earlier, yesterday actually, and I told Scruffy this morning this as well, 50% of our podcast downloads, those that go consume the show later, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever the hell you find it, 50% are from Toronto. If you are one of them, do you want to tell me why? I got to think it's because of the CFL talk, but I don't know. I don't know. And yet 40% of the audience watching on YouTube is in America, which we've heard from Tim from Kansas and Brent from Florida and Allie in Texas. That doesn't shock me either. It's fascinating for me. But anyways, it's a sports show. Glenn in Medicine Hat writes in, he says, every CFL team has a pretty reliable kicker right now, except maybe Edmonton and Sask. And also Brett Lawther was paid $123,000 last season. That's the thing. We did discuss this yesterday. Brett Lawther released by the Rough Riders yesterday, entering his, 10th CFL season. Tough. He's now entered that group of us that is in the former Saskatchewan Rough Rider blank group. Welcome to the club, Brett. And thank you for your service. He served the club very well. Let me pause for a second and do a sports update. This is a tough one to read. The junior hockey community in Western Canada is in mourning after 3 players were killed yesterday in a vehicle crash in southern Alberta while traveling to practice. The Humboldt Broncos were among those posting condolences to the southern Alberta Mustangs following the deaths of J.J. Wright, Cameron Casorso, and Caden Fine. RCMP say the crash involved a semi-truck and vehicle in Stavely, about an hour south of Calgary. Condolences to the team, their families. May God give them strength and have mercy on their souls. 7 games are scheduled tonight in the NHL, highlighted by an all-Canadian matchup in Edmonton, where the Oilers entertain the Toronto Maple Leafs. Edmonton has won 3 of 4, while Toronto arrives on a 2-game win streak. Elsewhere, the Ottawa Senators visit the Carolina Hurricanes, aiming for a 5th straight victory. There are 10 games around the NBA tonight. The West leading Oklahoma City Thunder, fresh off a big win over Denver, host Orlando. Canada's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander leads the Thunder and is second in NBA scoring at 32 points per game. Sports Update brought to you by Ultimate Fan Zone. From jerseys to trading cards, Ultimate Fan Zone is your fan cave headquarters. Check them out in Moose Jaw, a stone's throw from the hockey arena, or click over to ultimatefanzone.ca. They're full of stuff like my whole set. It's a really good fit for Ultimate Fan Zone to be on the program with us here. By the way, Jeff Reinebold coming up next hour from Super Bowl 60. I'm getting these CFL and Canadian comments in during the Canadian hour as we go to air in Nevada next hour and talk a lot more Super Bowl. Wayne in Victoria writes in, he says, hey, Rod and Scruffy, of course Bill Belichick deserves to be in the Football Hall of Fame. That wasn't the question. It was, does he deserve to be first ballot? And he says, does it mean anything that he got in on the first ballot? So hang on. He goes on to say, I'm glad I don't go on social media much. I hate to see a good person like Brett Lather and Cody Fajardo be treated badly. It's the sad consequence of social media. Oh, and he says, yes, Scruffy, the Seahawks should have won 2 Super Bowls in a row. Mitch knows. He knows. Again, it's part of a flaw of mine. I tend to excessively feel bad for other people. And in this case, I just, because I know what it's like. If Belichick goes to the Super Bowl at all, which if he didn't, could you blame him? All these jerks don't like me. I'm not going. But it's for the next year. He's got to probably every day put up with, hey, how's it feel that you got snubbed by the Hall of Fame voter? How's it feel? What's it feel like? Like every day. I don't know. It's annoying. Hey. Kirk in Tirana writes in, he says, hi, Rod. What goes around comes around. Well, there is that. You know, I feel more sorry for Kraft than I do Belichick for sure. Like last week, I'm like, maybe he's getting his comeuppance. What did Kraft ever do? I mean, we know, but I know friends of friends, friends of the family that say he was single at the time, if that makes any difference at all. Kirk says also, the Argonauts have signed 4 defensive stars from their 16-2 season, along with defensive coordinator Greg Quick. I say. Mr. Barker is building a stellar, aggressive defense. Pull together, Scullers. That's the thing. I mean, I don't like this 1-year contract deal at all. Somebody wrote in here yesterday and said, if you don't like losing your players, sign them to 3- and 4-year deals. Players don't want to do that. And then you see the guy in Montreal, Austin Mack, isn't that his name? Get cut a year into a 4-year deal. Same thing happened to Dressler. If you wonder why there's no loyalty anymore, this is why. It's a free-for-all. You're just figuring it out. Hour 2 coming up on Game Plus TV.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
You have a vision, a big idea, But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
How about that?
This is great. This is great. We got a lot of stuff on the go today. Not as much breaking news, although there is some, but just a fantastic discussion with our sports fans and viewers here on the RP Show, episode number 1669. Forging our way into hour two on the Game Plus television network all across Canada and 33 U.S. states. Welcoming in viewers across Nevada on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network. Get comfortable. The breaking news is this. It pertains to our Canadian viewers and Canadian hockey fans. Thank you, Mark and Melford, for pointing this out. And I also saw it on Twitter. Elliot Friedman from Sportsnet announcing that Anthony Cirelli of the Tampa Bay Lightning sustained an injury in the outdoor game, the Stadium Series game in Tampa Sunday night. He will not be able to participate in the Olympics. And guess who's going? Sam Bennett of the Florida Panthers. The only problem was Sam Bennett was hurt last night at the game here in the 4-3 loss to the Buffalo Sabres, and clearly not that seriously because he's going to the Olympics. And here's a lesson, kids. When Sam Bennett was left off Canada's initial roster for the Olympics, he was very classy about it. He said he was very grateful to wear the Maple Leaf last year at the Four Nations face-off, and he said, I wasn't good enough to be there, clearly. That's what he said. I'm not even sure if he meant it. That's what he said. He was the first call to go to Italy. And so, okay, let's get down to it. Jeff Reinebold is our guest coming up, talking Super Bowl 60. Most recently with the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors, winners of the Hawaii Bowl in the college football bowl season, now just named to the Ottawa Redblacks, and a Super Bowl regular. He is there in San Francisco, or will be. Not sure where he's going to join us from today, but covering it for Irish television. Don't ask. That's So we covered the breaking news, Sam Bennett going to the Olympics. Let's start with the National Football League. There's so much here to unpack. Super Bowl week, point one, is underway, hence my outfit today. Maybe the game itself will live up to the hype, and hopefully it does, because opening night, Monday night, was calmer than usual. Drake May and the New England Patriots will take on Sam Darnold and the Seattle Seahawks Sunday at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara, California. Last night, 6,000 reporters were expected, we were told, to the San Jose Convention Center for opening night of Super Bowl week, but only 2,000 reporters showed up. And the questions were far more normal than normal. Sam Darnold was asked to name his favorite coffee spot, burger joint, hobby, and food. Patriots coach Mike Vrabel refused to compare Drake May to Tom Brady and was asked several questions about playing for Bill Belichick. I didn't watch it. It's the one thing I was mentioning last hour. One of the highlights of my year is just stapling myself to the couch and watching NFL Network on a loop. Today. I wouldn't have watched it last night because it's silly. You got somebody there asking Mike Vrabel if it's a must-win game, the Super Bowl. No, I didn't know. The viewers are telling me that that's a stock question that they ask every year. I've never heard it asked before, and I would have swatted the person's microphone out of their hand. What are you being an idiot for? It's a good thing I'm not there. But for the rest of the coverage, as they break down every minute, tiny little detail, plus the celebrities that they bring on and everything, it's just so great. They do it so great. Point two is NHL hockey. I'll come back to that. I feel like today's a big Super Bowl day or NFL day. So we go to point three. Patriots owner Robert Kraft, just like his former head coach Bill Belichick, was not selected for entry into this year's Pro Football Hall of Fame class. ESPN broke that story. Kraft, a first-time Hall of Fame finalist this year, just like Belichick, didn't get enough votes from the 50-person selection committee to be included in the class of 2026, which will be announced Thursday night at the NFL Honors in San Francisco. Now, this conversation took an off-ramp that I wasn't expecting last hour because our poll question today for EMJ Marketing, by the way, Elite Speakers Bureau, keynote speakers, EMJ Marketing. I belong to it. Stu Grimson, Jim Barker, John Ryan of the Super Bowl winning Seahawks, who's going to be with us tomorrow. We're all part of it. Expert voices, impactful messages. Discover the perfect keynote speaker at EMJ Marketing. Go to their website, emjmarketing.com, to have a look at the roster. Transform your event with one of us. But anyways, the poll question is, do you feel sorry for Kraft and Belichick because they've been snubbed by voters? 73% of you saying no, you don't, including Scruffy. And there's, just like the people that snubbed them, they're not being asked to explain their vote. So I'm not going to ask you to explain why you might have voted no. But for me, I do feel bad for them because the men put in the time. What more do you need? But somebody wrote in here and said cheating has its consequences, certainly in the case of Belichick. And I get that. And maybe Jeff Reinebold will have a take on that when he joins us next. You know, what's Belichick's, not legacy, but image, I guess, across the NFL? It's just an ugly story. But what I will say, I don't think any of you can argue this. Where are we as a society when Bob Kraft and Bill Belichick don't get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame first? Where are we? What are we doing here? That's the question that they need to answer, because Troy Aikman's not wrong when he says this is a sad day for the Hall of Fame. Man, you guys got to figure out how you're doing things. Moving along, more NFL. The league is reviewing reports involving Giants co-owner Steve Tisch, named repeatedly in Justice Department files tied to Jeffrey Epstein. The league says it's aware of the reports and is working to understand the facts. Meanwhile, this all came from the commissioner's news conference, his State of the League. In the CFL, they do it Friday. At the Super Bowl, they do it Monday. Meanwhile, Roger Goodell also said there have been no discussions with the union about adding an 18th game to the NFL season, and said lengthening the regular campaign was not inevitable. Roger Goodell has expressed interest in the past about adding an 18th game in place of one of the 3 exhibition games each team plays every season. I follow the NFL pretty closely. I'm around those guys. I thought they were going to 18 games for sure, but I guess not. And you can understand this, right? It's a big league with a lot of people, and one of the biggest reasons Goodell got pressed on this was, I guess, Robert Kraft was talking about it last week like it's going to happen. I'll bring this, relate it to our CFL viewer world because it's so close to us here. When was the last time we had Amar Doman on? It was like in the summertime, the owner of the BC Lions. And I said, Amar, are your players in the Canadian Football League going to participate in the Olympics like the NFL players? And he's like, I don't think so. We talked about that at our league meetings. We don't see how that's going to happen. I didn't hold him to it because things change. And was it last month, 6 weeks ago, they announced they're going. So you don't know. There's a lot of people speaking about things you don't know, and they're going. And the interesting thing is the CFL is not stopping their schedule for the Olympics either, which they really got that one right. Carlos in Indianapolis writes in and he says, are we going to gripe about how they've been snubbed when they finally get in? I doubt it. As we say in the recovery world, you can't schedule feelings. Who knows how we're going to feel then? Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, the Kraft story is such a non-story. Who cares? He's talking about his off-field stuff. Well, somebody does. There's got to be a reason Robert Kraft didn't go. Belichick, we get. Kraft, I don't get as much. Brent writes in. He's watching in the Bridge City. He says, Sam Bennett should have been in there in the beginning. Talking about Sam Bennett being named to Team Canada's Olympic roster. Yeah, well, again, that's the fun debate that we're almost past. We've got 2 more games here for the Panthers until the Olympics fire up, and I can't wait. Okay, so we did all that. Going way back. I'm out of order here, but point 2. Monday night in the National Hockey League, William Nylander had a goal and 2 assists, and the visiting Toronto Maple Leafs hung on to defeat the Flames 4-2. Had that pick wrong. Thomas Harley scored at 2:05 of overtime to lift the Dallas Stars to a 4-3 victory over the Winnipeg Jets. Had that one right. Nick Schmaltz had 3 goals and a helper, and the Utah Mammoth beat the visiting Vancouver Canucks 6-2. That one was not hard to predict. I got the game wrong here, man, in Sunrise. The Panthers lost 5-3 to Buffalo, and I will say this, because I'm always looking for the bright side. It's nice to see the Sabres come in and actually put up a fight and be competitive. That was my take. I mean, it's similar to the Jets with the bottom following. It's all the same players. What the hell happened in Winnipeg? Whereas with Buffalo, I'm like, it's all the same players, except for Alex Lyon played his ass off. Former Panthers goalie, now in Buffalo's net, and he was in Detroit last year. He might have won them the game last night, but either way, the Panthers lost. The town's on fire. Oh, the media woke up and are talking about how crappy the Panthers are. That's news now. My daily Joe Rose update for you, Joe Lazito. By the way, Joe Lazito says he didn't feel sorry for the Patriots guys at all. There you go, Joe Lazito. But Joe Rose talking on the air this morning about, the Panthers are finally realizing how much Alexander Barkov means to the team, the captain who's been out all year. Oh, they knew. You all are just figuring out now what Alexander Barkov means to this hockey team. And not to mention who else they didn't have last night. Brad Marchand, Seth Jones, Sam Bennett, Dmitry Kulikov. They might miss the playoffs. And then actually it was Matthew Tkachuk who said after the game, we're in trouble. To which a lot of the fans said, no guff. But here's the thing. These Golden Knights did miss the playoffs once in their incarnation. What are they in season 9 now? And I distinctly remember on this show, Shane Knighty was on here and he said, you take the top 2 players out of anybody's lineup and they're going to struggle. For them that year was William Karlsson and Mark Stone, and they missed the playoffs. That's why they get the big money, folks. But if the Panthers miss the playoffs, it's going to suck. By the way, our picks are brought to you by Pump Jack's Steakhouse and Saloon. That is, I guess we should transfer them to our NHL picks because we only got one football game left, and it's Sunday, and we're not quite ready yet to get to the pick. Although, maybe we can get Jeff Reinebold's pick with us in the next segment when he joins us, talking Super Bowl 60. Hawaii's coach. How about that, Jeff Reinebold? Anyways, have you got plans for the Super Bowl? Head on down to Pump Jack's Steakhouse and Saloon, Pump Jack's Cathedral, Pump Jack's Weyburn. Come early and stay late at the place where friends meet. As the manager, cool Kevin Smith, says, we're a sports bar. Check it out for yourself. Pump Jack's. Oh, and 902-518-3033 is the text line. Bob checks in. Hey, Bob, from Medicine Hat. He says, how about those Montreal Canadiens? They're an up-and-coming team. Nice to watch. Well, it is an interesting study. They were through here a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, whoa, are these guys good? Really good. Which, frankly, 3-4 years ago, they were really good, but really young. I remember thinking, this is the best American Hockey League team I've seen. Trouble is, they're in the NHL. They're all kids. And they've only added to that with the Slivkovskis and the Demidovs. Oh, Montreal is a wagon. You're right. They are fun to watch. And they're going to be in the playoffs. Because we have a Canadian Football League coach coming up, Jeff Reinebold, coached in every league. But I'll read a couple of the CFL comments here because we're in the throes of CFL free agency. Rick writes in from Martinsville on the Western Dodge text line. He says, regarding one-year contracts, I would have thought because of potential injuries, the players would lean to longer deals, but with only 50% guarantee after 1 year and the CFL ripping players off and cutting bonuses, this is what you get. You just answered your own question. So thank you. I don't feel like there's any need to go any further down that road. You wonder why there's no loyalty? Sign a long-term deal doesn't mean the paper that it's written on. So, yeah. What do we got here? 3, 6, 7 games tonight in the National Hockey League. I'll push those picks to a little later on. I feel like, well, I know this. I was talking about the analytics the other day and last hour. 50% of our podcast downloads come from Toronto. I still don't really understand that, but 40% of our streaming viewership is in the USA. Why is that? Because we're giving them what they can't get in the States. Quality NHL talk and the CFL talk for those that are into it. That's what I can think. So anyways, an hour ago, I'll give you a little more hockey talk here. Scruffy was saying, what's this Olympic break going to do for teams? And I'm going to tell you, it's not going to do much for the Florida Panthers at all. Half their team's playing in the Olympics. They're not going to get a break. Not much is going to change for them. Tampa Bay, same deal. I mean, but Tampa's got Buffalo tonight. They're going to roll them. Oh, my God, are the Lightning good. I'm sitting there watching I hate to say this because I don't want to be Debbie Downer, but I'm watching the Florida power play last night, and I'm like, they're just not as good as Tampa Bay. They're just not skilled as good. And as a matter of fact, don't get mad at me. Kachuk said the exact same thing last night. Well, actually, he was talking about Buffalo, but with all those guys hurt for the Panthers, they're not the same team, and they're trying to move the puck around. Ding, ding, ding. They're missing passes, flubbing passes, and I'm like, oh, my God. Tampa Bay, they don't need the break. They win every game. They don't have as many injuries as Florida. But what other teams is it going to help? It might help the Leafs. It's going to be all football when Jeff Reinebold joins us next, by the way, because I'm not going to ask him for his NHL predictions. But who do you think the Olympic break is going to help, everybody? You tell me. It ain't going to help Florida, and it's not going to help Tampa because half their teams are there. I don't know about the others. I don't pay as close of attention. Who else needs the break? Yeah, besides everybody. We'll be right back. You're watching the RP Show across Nevada on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network and Game Plus TV.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live. Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Just realized I was remiss in not getting to our junior hockey report, so remind me later, but it's for the Mad Greek Eatery. Are you craving the famous Greek ribs everybody's talking about? Get yours today at the Mad Greek Eatery. But hey, we're not going to make this guy wait any long. Jeff Reinebold, I was going to read off your football resume, but we only got 2 hours, Coach. So I'm going to jump right to this. I'm going to write to this. For your legions of fans, of which I'm the marshal of that parade, give them an update on your life, please.
Well, right now, Rod, I'm trying to thaw out from 12 days in Ottawa in January. It was brutally cold. We went up for meetings, and Ryan got the staff together for the first time, and we started to delve into free agency and the draft and all of those kinds of things. So it's really fun, being back in the CFL and putting a new team together in Ottawa.
Okay, well, listen, the last time we saw, and congratulations on that deal, by the way. I'm watching the Hawaii Bowl, and somehow you guys pulled that out. I was worried at halftime. Take me back to that game, if you don't mind.
Well, we really didn't play very well on defense, particularly the first quarter. I think it was 21-0 after the first quarter, and our offense just kept chipping away, and then we got enough stops. I think we played pretty good defense, from the first quarter on, put ourselves in position. Special teams blocked the punt, all the things that, you talk about as coaches all the time that you got to be able to do is, not give up explosive plays, do something good in the kicking game to turn the field. We did all those things. And then, one of the coolest things I've ever seen happens at the end of the game. Our quarterback gets hurt. he has to come out. We're on the 12, I think about 12 or 15 yard line going in to try and win the game. And we could have kicked a field goal and got out of there and gone to overtime. But Timmy put the backup quarterback in and throws a post, and we hit it for a touchdown and to put the game out of reach. And it was really significant because, when you're talking about a place like Hawaii, is a place that doesn't have, all the big things, all the facilities, all the money, all of it, and you're playing University of California, who's a ACC school, and Power 4 school, and for our fans and for our kids to, win that game and actually start the season with a win over Stanford and end the season with a win over California. I guess we're champions of the Bay Area.
Yeah, well, I was watching it because of you, and I'm like, oh my God, they're not going to pull this off, are they? And then they did. So congratulations, and another ring for you. And then back to the CFL, which I will come back to. Ryan in upstate New York writes in. He says, "Hey, Coach Reinebold, great to see you on the RP show again." The last time wasn't Super Bowl, but that was one of the best times at Super Bowl. I guess it would have been 58. And you're going to Super Bowl 60. Maybe you're there already. I mean, what do you expect?
No, I'm gonna go in and tomorrow, and I'm really expecting a great football game because these are two really good football teams, really well coached, very balanced, very much the same, in that they're gonna win. They're gonna win primarily on defense, and if their quarterback doesn't screw it up, they're gonna be okay. You look at Seattle. Seattle, to me, Rod, right now is playing the best football of anybody, and they're hot. The Patriots obviously have had a Cinderella story season, from worst to first and all of that with Mike Vrabel. If he's not the coach of the year, then it's a travesty because, to take a team that won 4 games last year and rattle off 11 straight, win 9 on the road, which is incredibly hard to do in the National Football League. But I just really believe Seattle's defense and their ability to run the ball. And if Sam Darnold can just make enough plays, and Jackson Smith-Njigba is a absolute phenomenal talent at wide receiver. My pick is Seattle 21-17 over the Patriots.
Well, how do you feel about those that say it's not a great matchup? I mean, I'm thinking you're like me. I'm like they earned their way there, so it's a great matchup for that reason. I mean, there's great storylines in any matchup, but do you like it?
I think it is tremendous matchup. And I mean, anybody that would say it's a bad matchup, I don't know. Maybe they wanted some of the quote marquee or the expected teams to be there, But listen, you got to play who's on your schedule, and you got to win the games that you got to win to get to the next round. And both of these teams have done that. I thought the Rams going into the tournament, I thought the Rams were the team that I would have picked because of their ability to score. But again, Seattle just hung in there with them, and as good teams do, they're resilient and made a few plays at the end, and their best players made plays when they had to make them.
It's been a few people I've heard say it's not a great matchup, but part of it was in the press box at the outdoor hockey game in Tampa Bay the other night, which was played in the football stadium. But the media. I'm not sure. Are you media, Jeff? Are you?
Wait a second. How in the world do you play an outdoor hockey game in Tampa Bay?
Well, it got freezing. Believe it or not, it got to -5 Celsius that day, 22 Fahrenheit. Oh, my God, it was hilarious watching the Floridians almost die. But we put artificial ice on the field in Raymond James Stadium, and it was the greatest outdoor game ever. So it was fantastic.
Awesome.
But I get a kick out of you and Barker. You don't seem to mind being a media guy, but Barker's like, I'm not a media guy. Well, I'm sorry, but TSN's paying you. So for a couple of years, you were. So you don't seem to mind it as much as JB.
No, I enjoy it. Rod, this is going to be a real thrill for me this week. This I think is the 18th Super Bowl that I've covered. This one's going to be really unique because I got a call from the people at Virgin Media, and they asked me, they were putting together a package a deal to bring the Super Bowl live to Ireland for the first time ever. And, football has exploded over there with the, the Steelers having marketing rights to Ireland, and they played a game in Dublin that had, 80,000 people at the game, and it was just a phenomenal event. And so now that's dovetailed into a broadcast of the game live back to Ireland, and it'll be the first one, and I'm going to be a part of that. So it's going to be a special Super Bowl.
Oh, I love that's awesome for you. Congratulations. Well, before I go any further, I told you your adoring fans want to talk to you, and I can't get in their way. Coach Matt DeBuck, who I believe you had in Winnipeg, has written in. He's watching here. He's right. He's watching here in Fort Lauderdale, or he's close by me. He says, how much longer does Coach want to coach? Does he know Luke Wilson and Hookham? His son just signed as the long snapper with the Longhorns, by the way, in Sarkeesian. He says, great to see you back in the CFL. Good luck, Coach.
Hey, I appreciate that. Hey, you know what's interesting, Rod? That group of guys in Winnipeg that we had, Matt was one of them, and was I think he was Toronto's first round draft choice, I think, out of Texas Tech, and then we picked him up, and he played really well for us. But I don't know if you knew this as a hockey guy, Rod. Joe Fleming, who was one of our defensive linemen, and then went on to Calgary, and I think was the CFL Defensive Player of the Year one year. His son plays for the Golden Knights in Las Vegas.
What?
I did not know that. Yeah, we've got famous sons all over the place. So you'll have to, if the Knights come into Fort Lauderdale, you'll have to go see Joe's son.
Oh wow! The bloodlines, right? Joe Fleming was, as they say, a bitch. I would hope he's in the Hall of Fame. He should be in the Hall of Fame. Which, speaking of the Hall of Fame, our poll question is: do you feel bad for Belichick and Kraft that they're not first ballot Hall of Famers? I said yes, but how do you feel?
Well, here's the thing, right? I mean, is there a morals clause or in the Hall of Fame? I mean, it's the same deal with Pete Rose in baseball. Pete Rose, one of the greatest baseball players. It's called the Hall of Fame. It's not a character hall. It's a Hall of Fame. And Belichick, having won as many Super Bowls as he has, and Kraft with what they've done with that organization. Because remember now, when Kraft bought that thing, New England was, not exactly the preeminent power in the AFC East. So what they have done is, phenomenal, and they certainly deserve to be in the Hall. Now, if you want to say that they're not in the Hall for off the field reasons or Spygate or character, I just don't buy into that, because if you're naive enough to think that Bill Belichick is the first coach that was spying on an opponent or, filming signals or any of the other things, deflating the balls or adjusting the ball, you really got to shake your head a little bit, because, hey, there's an old saying that I think it was credited to Al Davis: if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. And it's just the nature of sports, so competitive. And I don't care about, you can say the NFL, CFL, NHL, Major League Baseball, everybody's looking for an edge all the time. And if you got to work the gray area, you're going to work the gray area.
Well, maybe Belichick wasn't good at it. I don't know. Like, here's one. I'll flip it back to you. When I first got into the CFL, early on, Danny Barrett was our coach, and who was getting nailed all the time for cheating was Don Matthews. So I remember saying to DB, I'm like, oh, does this go on? He goes, oh, with other team, but not us. I'm like, even then, I feel like everybody would say that everybody else is cheating, but not us. Maybe Belichick just wasn't good at it. I don't know.
Well, again, I think they got a little brazen, but certainly, like the paranoia that runs rampant in coaches is like, it, Rod, because you've been around enough coaches. And so, we're getting ready for this is a case in point. We're getting ready for the bowl game, and there's a parking structure right outside where we practice. And so, we posted guards in the parking structure. Now, you can get all you need to know off of film. You don't have to do that. But it's just the way the business works. And it's, it's frankly more normal than it's abnormal in, not only anytime there's high stakes, there's high stakes.
Sure. Well, and the Astros didn't help their case either. But you must have worked with Jamie Elizondo somewhere on your stops.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, well, when he was coaching, was it Ottawa? Maybe it must have been Ottawa. I stood on the corner of the field at a walkthrough and took a photo, and he had me kicked out of the stadium. Jones was our coach, and Jones was like, "What's he kicking you out for? If he's so stupid to put his personnel out there to walk through, he deserves to be cheated on." But because in hockey, I never been kicked out of anywhere.
Hey, Rod, one time I'm doing a Grey Cup for TSN, all right? And so, they give you access to the CFL is much better than the NFL. The NFL, you can only watch the players warm up. CFL, you can watch them practice the whole practice if you want. So I'm out there watching practice, and Don Southern was the defensive coordinator for Hamilton at the time. And he had all the players change their jersey numbers, and then instead of having 12 players on the field, Don had 18 guys on the field. So you couldn't tell who was who or what they were playing.
I tell you what, they still talk about that guy. Sudsy, they called him, right? Don Southern. Well, yep. Speaking of that, Ted in Red Deer writes in, he says, I'd love to get Coach Reinebold's thoughts on this. Who was your favorite head coach to work with?
Wow, that's really a broad question. I've been really lucky, Rod, to have worked with a lot of really guys. I think the guy that epitomizes more to me what I would like to be as a coach, or what I think an outstanding football coach was a guy named Dick Vermeil, who obviously people remember for him in winning the Super Bowl with the St. Louis Rams. He took the Eagles to the Super Bowl, beat a unbeatable Ohio State team at UCLA when he was coaching at UCLA. Coach was the best handler of people, which is, you got to connect in this business. And if you can connect with your players, you got a chance. And I think that's one of the things that Mike Vrabel's done very well and spent a lot of time on working on connection. He had a great quote, Rod. He said, we'll have all kinds of different personalities in our locker room, but we'll only have one mentality in our locker room. And I thought that was really well said. So I would say Coach Neal. And then I had, late in his life, I had an opportunity to spend a lot of time with Don Matthews, and that was precious.
Continue. I'm spellbound. Go ahead.
Well, Don was one of those guys that was, again, he always used to say, you got to live on the edge, right? He was living on the edge. That was his motto. And, he was a kind of a lovable scoundrel. I mean, I loved the guy. And, there are a lot of people. Don had a very strong personality, which I don't think is a bad thing, but I just really felt like he was so good for the game of football and so good for the Canadian Football League. And, you talk to his players, there were an awful lot of them that would, the proverbial run through the wall for the guy. And that's the way they felt about him, because he took care of his players. And, that was at a time when it was really the old school mentality, like full pack jack, and you had to, practice them in pads and knock them to the ground. And you go to Don's practices and, they wouldn't even have shoulder pads on. And he understood way before his time how important it was to keep the players fresh, both physically and mentally. And you see a lot of the things that he instituted in the CFL all the way back in the 80s are now normal in professional football.
Well, you must remember Victor Stevenson, the great offensive lineman Vic Stevenson. He said, they didn't have a dress code.
I had an opportunity. Yeah. I had an opportunity to be on the team with Vic. Vic's a great dude.
Oh, yeah. And he said he goes, we'd see every team going through an airport in suits, wearing T-shirts and shorts and sandals, because Matthews was like, you win on the weekend, wear whatever the hell you want. I don't think that's changed.
He used to have it. He used to, and we incorporated it. I didn't win. I can't even. I never won very many games using Don's tactics, but we used to have a thing we called sunglasses and sandals, which was the day before the game. You went out in whatever you wanted to wear, and in Edmonton, they used to have a hat day celebration on walkthrough days that the guys would come out with these crazy hats on, and that's all part and parcel of brought to the game. I remember watching him work out one time, and they were going through a special teams walkthrough, and they're working on punt protection, and he's coaching guys, and the long snapper's snapping the ball, and Louis punting the ball while Don's talking. Like, most coaches would lose their mind if that was going on. But Don, it didn't bother him. And that's one of the things that really endeared him to his players.
Older I get, the more I understand those guys. They didn't suffer
Yeah.
fools. They were cool, and it was their spirit. And I get it. Okay,
Yeah.
they're going to cut us off. We are on a hard out, so if we get cut off, I apologize in advance, but we just have a couple minutes left. You're heading to Super Bowl 60. What are you looking forward to? Yeah, we have at least 2 minutes. What are you looking forward to the most?
Well, Rod, the last time we were there and we sat down and you and I talked, it's that kind of stuff that I'm looking forward to. You remember Carl Eller walking through the Radio Row and all the people that you're going. It's like a get together. It's like a family reunion for everybody in football. You see people you haven't seen in years. You see players that you coached. You see the madness that the Super Bowl is, because the Super Bowl is a absolute 3-ring circus, and when it comes to town, you better be there. And luckily, I've been able to be at 18 of these things, and I enjoy it very, very much.
What was your favorite?
I think my favorite one was the Patriots and the Seahawks, because that was just so unbelievable to me. And it happened, our booth was right over where Malcolm Butler picked that ball off. And it was just shock in the stadium and shock on the sidelines. And to watch the reaction of the Seattle team as they just, it was mayhem. And then, Tom Brady jumping up and down like he was a 6-year-old kid at a Little League game when he hit his first home run. It was really, really incredible.
Yeah, that was a good one. He thought it was over, like we all did. They did what? Yeah, you're going to see that clip a lot. Coach, safe travels, man. Good to see you. And congrats on the honor.
All right, Rod. Look forward to doing this a lot.
All right, man, for sure. The great Jeff Reinebold. Follow his stuff. Follow him on Twitter at Jeff_Reinebold. And he's doing all kinds of great things on his way to Super Bowl 60 in San Francisco. We'll be right back on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network and Game Plus TV.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live. Aginla.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We didn't get to this in hour one, in the Game Plus hour, so we'll do it now. The junior hockey report for the Mad Greek Eatery. The Utah Mammoth prospect and Kelowna Rockets forward Tej Aginla has been named WHL Player of the Week for the week ending Sunday, Feb 1. Aginla, an 18-year-old from Lake Country, BC, registered 9 points and a +6 rating in 3 games as the Rockets went 3-0. Meanwhile, Brandon Wheat Kings netminder Jaden Krause has been named WHL Goalie of the Week for the week ending Sunday, February 1st. Krause, a 19-year-old from Prince Albert, went 2-0 with a 1.45 GAA. It's brought to you by the Mad Greek. For legendary ribs, delicious pizza, and late-night bites, it's the Mad Greek Eatery, open until 11 p.m. Order online, pick up, or dine in at themadgreekeatery.com. Sports update, and there's a lot. There are 7 games in the National Hockey League tonight, including one in Edmonton where the Oilers host the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Oilers have won 3 of their last 4, while the Leafs have won 2 straight. That's a biggie. It's a one-anthem game, as they call it. Elsewhere, the Ottawa Senators will be aiming to win their 5th straight when they visit the Metropolitan Division leading Carolina Hurricanes. Not doing picks here, but will before we go off the air today. I don't know why people want them so bad. I sucked last night, 3 of 10. Ryan O'Reilly and Steven Stamkos each scored twice, and Roman Josi added 4 assists as the Nashville Predators rallied from a 5-goal deficit to beat the visiting St. Louis Blues 6-5 Monday. It doesn't say it here, but Stamkos moved into the 20th spot, 20th all-time in goals in the National Hockey League. Oh, my God. Salute, Stammer. There are 10 games in the NBA tonight, including, well, hang on. Breaking news out of the NHL and the Olympics. Sam Bennett has been named to Team Canada due to an injury to forward Anthony Cirelli of the Tampa Bay Lightning, who was injured in Sunday's outdoor game in Tampa Bay. You know, isn't it funny, by the way, how we bring all the worlds together? Like, you got Reinebold sitting there in Hawaii on his way to Super Bowl, and he's like, wait a minute. They played a hockey game in the football stadium in Florida? I know, right? And it was amazing. And I'll say it for the umpteenth time. With the RP show, we can't be everywhere. We need to pick and choose. And where I wanted to be was the Stadium Series game in Tampa Bay. Everybody was watching, except for the football people, apparently. There are 10 games in the NBA tonight, as mentioned, including one in Washington, where the New York Knicks will be aiming to win a 7th straight. The Toronto Raptors, coming off Sunday's 107-100 win over the visiting Utah Jazz, host the Minnesota Timberwolves on Wednesday. The NFL released a statement on Monday on New York Giants co-owner Steve Tisch, whose name showed up more than 400 times in files released by the U.S. Justice Department regarding Jeffrey Epstein. The statement said the NFL is aware of the reports and will investigate. The statement came before Commissioner Roger Goodell held his annual State of the League address to kick off Super Bowl week, which, by the way, fairly fascinating to me, just following what the commissioner said. Other than that scandal, I mean, I can't think he was too happy about that, obviously, Commissioner Goodell, but thought it was very interesting that he was throwing water on the story that they were going to 18 games because, quite frankly, I thought it was just a foregone conclusion. Even Robert Kraft, the owner of the Patriots, alluded to that last week that they were doing it. And Goodell had to walk it back and say, no, we're not. Not yet. And they're going to go play in France. And yeah, it's a really big deal. And as people have said to me, everybody here in America, as far as the media goes, they all want to cover the NFL. They want to jump on the football train. I'm like, I'm good with the hockey. That's what I want to do. I'm good. We'll just dabble in the football, and we can do that too. It's all deadly. Major League Baseball's average salary increased by 1.4% last year, reaching a record $4.7 million. Again, that's the average salary in Major League Baseball, $4.7 million. It's the smallest increase since the average dropped for 4 straight seasons before 2022. The average has risen 28.3% in the first 4 seasons of the current labor deal that is going to run out at the end of this season, and they all tell me that a strike is coming. Millionaires and billionaires fighting over money. No thanks. Your team, your colors, your gear. Get it all at Ultimate Fan Zone Sports Store or online at ultimatefanzone.ca. NHL picks coming up and whatever you would like to talk about right after this on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network across Nevada and Game Plus TV.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too. Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge. Big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Sorry to look so ensconced here. I should have been popping open the text line a little more quickly, but hang on. It's Overtime, brought to you by our friends at Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. If you're looking for the perfect place to perfect your shot, that's the place to do it. They've got state-of-the-art equipment, top-notch shooting lanes. Just trust me. Go check it out for yourself. Baseball has batting cages. Golf has driving ranges. Why wouldn't hockey have shooting lanes? Well, they do. At Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. Check out their website at overtimehl.ca. Try out the Rod Pedersen Show lane. You could win $500, but you can't do it. 28th Street Northeast, Calgary. From the text line, which is brought to you by Western Dodge. Hey, Fongo. He's watching on Game Plus TV. He writes and he says, welcome back to the CFL, coach. Signed, Fongo, Hall of Fame equipment manager of the Saskatchewan Roughriders and WHA's Los Angeles Blades. I'll pass it along to Coach Reinebold. He can play silly bugger, you know, as well or better than most. He was like, what's 1:15 Eastern in Hawaii time? I'm like, come on, Coach, you know. Guys coached for 50 years all around the globe, NFL Europe, University of Hawaii, Rainbow, where you know what it is. And he made it on time. He was just pulling my leg. So we got a new viewer here, Daryl. I won't say your last name, Daryl, unless you want me to. Hey, Rod, it's Daryl writing from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. I have a question regarding Robert Kraft. Oh, okay. Good thing I read a little ahead on this. My question is, in light of the recent Epstein files released that Robert Kraft is said to be on the list and his previous reported conduct, is it possible that maybe the cause of the snub could result in complete dismissal from next year's ballot? I would say if he is on that listing to the degree that you're supposing, the Hall of Fame is the least of his worries. That's what I would say to that. Be careful of the news also. Be careful of the news. I'm seeing all these people having to make statements because their name is on it. It's careful out there. It's a scary time. Better be careful who you listen to, who you trust. That's the one thing here. You're going to get the truth, whether you like it or not. No fake news. I guess what I'm trying to say on that is we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Because I think this Giants owner, Tisch, he's in a lot of trouble. Based on what I've read, to the degree that the NFL's issuing a statement on it, I don't see them saying anything on Kraft. Max is watching in Toronto on Game Plus TV. He says, I'm not sure what else Mark Scheifele needs to do to make Team Canada. 9th in the league in points. 4th among Canadians. I'm just reading that somewhat rhetorically because I can't disagree with you. I didn't watch the Winnipeg game here live. They came through Sunrise. I watched it on television. We were already in Tampa for the outdoor game, but I was like, oh my God. Is he? Well, not like I didn't know Mark Scheifele is really good. He was on Team Canada when I broadcast the World Junior Games. They can't take everybody. Hey, John Ohm, just thinking about you earlier. I was like, where's John Ohm? Ohm says, looking good, Rod. Looking younger every day. Are you still taking the pink drink? No, but I was promoting that to a friend on the weekend who said he needed to lose 50 pounds. I'm like, well, hey, the pink drink worked for me. I haven't been on it in a couple of years. I don't overeat and I work out. You know, crazy, huh? But thanks for the comment. Lost the weight, maintained it with a healthy lifestyle. How about that? Thank you, John. You're a good man. You folks didn't remind me to do my NHL picks. Not that it really matters because I sucked last night at 30%. But we're going to do it again. We're going to try it again. Ottawa at Carolina tonight. Let's go, Canes. Washington at Philadelphia. These Capitals, man, drive me nuts. I would stay away from them if I could. They will lose tonight in Philadelphia. I was very clear on my lock of the night last night, though. Nashville winning on the very day their general manager stepped down. He's like, well, these guys can't figure it out. I guess I'm the problem. I'm out. Buffalo's still riding on that bump from their GM falling on the sword. Columbus and New Jersey tonight. I'm thinking Columbus. Devils they've waved the white flag. Pittsburgh at the Islanders. Sneaky game of the night. What do you say, Joe Lazito? Let's take the Islanders. Buffalo at Tampa. Hashtag go Bolts. That could get ugly. Toronto at Edmonton. Oilers. Obvi. And Seattle at Anaheim. Two teams busting their butts for the playoffs. Home ice is no benefit, I find, in these picks, unless I just suck. That's very possible. But I'll take Anaheim. But to say it's because they're at home doesn't really mean anything anymore. Brenton Saskatoon says, I forgot to remind you. Yes, you did. You'll be punished summarily. Jeff in Toronto writes in and says, go Sabres. Vancouver Eric writes in and he says, what's the pink drink? It's a prebiotic. Look it up. That's all I can say. You can DM me. I'll get it to you. It's just, I'm not a commercial. It just works. It works to lose weight. The easy way, not taking shots. Arlen Bruce writes in. I like to hear this, AB. He says, RP, great show as always. This show is great for my mental health therapy. Thank you, Arlen. You being here is great for mine. I appreciate that. We just try to give people a break from their day, be positive, and all get along. It's rare in this world, but I love it. We'll do it all again tomorrow. John Ryan from Super Bowl, the Seahawks winning punter. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, everybody across Nevada on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network. And, of course, our overlords across Canada and 33 states, Game Plus TV.
That